250 years ago, a promise was made. A promise of freedom, of faith, of a nation built by the bold, not the silent. And now, our generation decides what comes next. We are not waiting our turn. We are stepping up. We are leading now, rooted in truth, driven by conviction, united by a love for this country. This is the next chapter of America. This is the National High School Conservatives of America.
Is that better now? I don't hear like any noticeable difference, but I think it's there. We go. Try again. Synced. Hello. The stream pick up audio? Because it looks like the mic's running, but I don't see any movement on the. Oh, there we go. A little bit of technical difficulties to start our morning. Perfect.
Very perfect.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And this is our co-host, Belle Foster, on the other end, tuning in remotely.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess you can go ahead and kick it off, Matthew.
All right. So got a couple of things kind of want to run through today. A lot of major national redistricting movements and a lot of people voting. And if you're in Texas, the runoffs are going on. I'll actually, right after this podcast, I'll be going to vote in the runoff elections, my first election vote. So that'll be fun. Yeah. So kind of want to get into that. For those of you who may not be aware, Virginia just had a crazy ruling that just struck down a significant racial gerrymander that would have given practically the entire state to Democrats, and it was entirely based on race. And that was deemed unconstitutional by the state Supreme Court. And I happen to have at least a little bit of experience. Back in high school, I did some papers on the Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard, which dealt with the admissions DEI that was struck down by the Supreme Court in that landmark decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up looking at things like civil rights, and just I was able to see that how it was being applied wasn't really fair, and it was a statistical problem. In fact, just it was replacing these qualified students for less qualified ones, all in the sake of equality and diversity, equity, inclusion, and not a merit-based system in one of the most meritocratous societies and institutions in America.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of that being said, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this, Belle?
Well, actually, I was just over at, so I live in South Carolina, so that's where I'm based out of. I was just over at the State House, I guess last week it would be, and I had an interview scheduled with our lieutenant governor, and it was right after, literally the day after our Senate did not pass the same legislation you're talking about, basically, because we have the same thing going on where we are trying to redraw our maps fairly. And Trump even put out, I think it was Truth Social or an X post, and he was like, all eyes are in South Carolina. and we did not pass it through. And so I was like, oh my goodness. But it was great talking points for my interview.
Yeah.
Takeaway from all of it is just that you can't gerrymander in general, but you definitely can't draw districts off of race. That's unconstitutional. And everyone keeps talking about, well, Black people are 10% of the population. Well, it wouldn't matter if there was 100% Black representatives or zero. It's not based on race whatsoever, or at least it shouldn't be. So now our legislation has thankfully gone, it's at the Senate right now, so we'll see how that goes. But oh my goodness, I was fuming because you never think it's gonna, nothing happens in South Carolina, but there's always, politics is always happening. So
Yeah.
you just gotta focus.
Politics is happening everywhere all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll say we've been kind of busy the past few days. I didn't happen to catch that tweet. That's kind of insane that he's even shouting out another state level thing, but that's not like Texas or Florida, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
we've been kind of just sucked into our own elections, just kind of monitoring those lately. Yeah, we've been going around to events and stuff, and it's like, wonder what's happening in the other states today. Oh,
right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of the list. I know Texas is up for some major redistricting, as well as I think Florida and
they actually just created a new district in the Houston area. It goes right between Morgan Luttrell and Wesley Hunt and Dan Crenshaw's district.
That would be between, for those of local, that would be between Montgomery and Harris, right?
It's like straight down the middle of both.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I'll have to look at that because this is a little more new information. I've known of redistricting battles are a huge thing right now because Democrats are kind of making it a talking point, trying to retaliate with their racial gerrymanders and not really realizing it's unconstitutional. And I feel like if I was one of these races that was being drawn on, I'd be kind of offended.
Yeah.
Like, why? I thought we were all equal. I thought it was all based on whatever merit and character we provide in society. Why are you, like, in a way, redlining us? Like, why are you doing that? Because it just doesn't make sense. We have constitutional amendments that prevent that. It's equal representation as best as we can. And I applaud even the highly democratic Supreme Democrat in the sense of the party, that Supreme Court, for even at least seeing through their own bias and realizing this was kind of wrong in multiple ways and was able to actually handle it respectfully.
Yeah.
I mean, considering how they recently flipped the state to a Democrat power, it's for even this to have gotten struck down, I've found just kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the major thing. And then you have obviously your local districts, and depending on some states, like if you're in Texas, the runoffs are going on. So for those tuning in from Texas, just go out to vote. I'll be voting right after this in the runoffs, my first election vote, and we'll see where it goes. And I don't think we're in any position to make any endorsements, but good luck, everybody. Good luck to all the candidates who put all of your hard work in if we end up clipping this later. All right. That was like the first major topic this morning. Next one I have is just a little bit of detail on the SAVE Act, just pulling up a little more information on that.
Yeah.
I feel like not much has happened with that since it was initially written, and was it passed to Congress, or I'm trying to remember how it went.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've kept up with that at all, Belle. I'm just curious because that was the other topic I kind of wanted to get into.
I've definitely kept up with what the SAVE Act is. I made a couple videos on it. I'm not sure where it is right now, but I actually just made a video a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, just like joking around like, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. Are we seriously debating over whether only Americans should be in American elections? And people hated that. It was actually insane. And I had to make a response video to the comments. And people were like, that's not true. That's not true. Because it looks like everyone agrees it should only be Americans in American elections.
Yes.
Yeah.
And technically it is. We're all pretty much on the same page. I believe it's Republicans 96% approve, and even Democrats 71% approve. But it's the Democrats that are elected that don't like it. And those are the people that are debating it because obviously they get the votes from illegal immigrants. So it's very misleading, I guess.
Very, fairly.
I mean, we do kind of take our side in politics. At the end of the day, we are individuals. But I wonder what it looks like from the Democrat side. Just if you're voting in primaries, how do you even vote on this? Like, because you have your 71% of your base saying that, like, this is an obvious pass that we need to make, but then your representatives that you chose to represent you are choosing not to enact your wishes, even though they're there to represent you. And I can't forget the exact terms, but there is two types of representation that are generally recognized in a class like American federal government. You have your, I know one of them's called trustee, and I can't remember the other type, but one acts on the interests of their constituents and one acts based off of the direct will of their constituents.
Yeah.
But when the base is going one way and you're voting the other than power, how does that even remotely help Democrats' best interests when in these certain areas where illegal immigration is most impacted? Like, we were just in Galveston and we were able to talk to a sheriff. We did a quick interview. That'll be up soon. Our first content that we're pushing out. And he's doing great work down there in Galveston County, but they have to deal with a lot of this situation kind of down there because they're a little closer to the border. And I mean, every state is a border state, but Texas has had to deal with it for a while, especially in the big cities.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't ask him this, but I would have wanted to ask the sheriff just how hard is it to handle this sort of immigration matters down there, because it's a lot of port stuff because it's Galveston County. And well, maybe I'll see him around in a little while and we'll ask that question one day. He was
we'll see him again
great
soon.
guy. Yeah.
We'll see him again soon.
Yeah. It's really interesting though, because I mean, Democrats are constantly accusing Trump of not doing what he ran on or not representing his voting, the people who voted for him. And then you can clearly see, I mean, I got those polls from CNN. I mean, you can clearly see that 71% approve of the SAVE Act. And that's probably being generous because of CNN. So there's probably a few more than that. But
you know, it's bad when the Communist News Network, which is a favorite of Democrats, still even gives semi-objective numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was just my 2 cents. You had a little more there. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really ridiculous because, I mean, I was really joking in that video and I said, it's so ridiculous that we're actually debating over whether only Americans should be in American elections. But I was joking, but that's literally what's happening. That is the exact debate we're having. And we're not even having it with the people. If the people were just like, vote right now, just everyone just press a button, yes or no, with the SAVE Act we'd have voter ID in every election. I mean, it just gets to the point where it's like, you are not representing the people who are voting for you. And so that's why you don't want the SAVE Act, is because you need a whole new voting population to win your elections.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why we're more of a representative government than a direct democracy, but at some point you are answerable to the people you represent. You have primaries to vote in for your state, and then you'll have your state elections and every other level of election where you can hold these people accountable.
Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of have to deal with interfactions and debates like that, but at the end of the day, we are somewhat responsible with our vote, with who we choose to represent us and how they behave in at least a limited fashion in DC and everything.
Yeah.
And even state senates, because I feel like that's a thing people often overlook. And before I really got into politics, that was kind of the main thing, was that state elections do matter a lot, actually, because those people do pour into the elections for national positions sometimes.
Yeah.
And that those people's careers are first built in the state Senate. So you do really need to keep those people accountable and work with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to think. Those were the two main things. Next, I believe, was I'm trying to remember if it was another redistricting point, because there's like a couple different ways we can handle the redistricting. I mean, we have a ton of potentially very important victories that could be coming in our new maps that are getting redrawn down here in the South. That would include states like South Carolina, which Trump mentioned on X or Twitter, and other places as well, like Texas. I think we're getting a lot of boundaries redrawn, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And I think Florida too.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one state in my memory that was getting, I think it was Louisiana. They're getting like completely redrawn to be a Republican state, because they've had Democrat pockets, but I think that whole state, it was like ruled that they're like entirely racially gerrymandered. We'll have to look this up later after the show, but it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Louisiana.
Yeah, it sounds like Louisiana, and I mean, I've been to Louisiana. We're a neighboring state. My dad had it as a territory for his job, so every so often on trips we'd end up driving through there on occasion, and yeah, and you can kind of see what they're working with. But those people, I mean, I'll have to talk to my dad at least to kind of get a sense of the profile in these people. But you can't just put them all in the box because they're one race or another, or have thought one way in the past. People are dynamic in that way and need to be able to choose that thought and that electorate. And then just it's good that we're finally redrawing these maps to more accurately represent Americans. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's representing Americans the best in their own American government. That's what the mission is. It's not keeping one side necessarily in power, although you do have to pick a side at the end of the day. The best ways to implement those policies. But at the end of the day, it is really just representing Americans in America. And I mean, immigration, it has its place in society. You can't have absolutely zero, but it really should be about Americans at the end of the day.
And it needs to be more regulated.
Quite definitely, yes. Like we're generally the kind of people that like ideally don't, if there doesn't need to be regulation, don't really make unnecessary regulation. Red tape. But we have legislators, we have lawmakers for a reason, and this is one of those reasons.
Yeah, and we're happy here in South Carolina because we might have some crazy leftist seats being removed, like Representative Kleinberg. That would be incredible, because even in South Carolina, even with our good old boy politics, we've got some crazy racist leftists here too.
Oh yeah.
You're talking to Texas guys here. I mean,
we know all about it.
I mean, I've looked at my ballot. I'm split on some of them because I know both people on both sides of the ballot on my primary, and it's like, who do I pick though?
Right.
Like, I can't get into specifics, obviously, because of our own organization stances. But I just remember looking at my ticket. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ask a connection, just some recommendations here, because they're a little more familiar with the local than I've been, because I've been in Oklahoma for college for this past 2 semesters. So it's like, okay, who would do this best? Because you can like both of the people. There's at least 1 or 2 ballots where like I know both the people. We're going to one of their events actually after this.
In
a couple of hours, and it's like I like both of them, but which one of them is not only going to win, but which one is going to do the job the best? And that's what it is. And that's sort of the main there. Just hammering in what exactly politics is supposed to do at the end of the day. It's not just about sides. It's what side does what for everybody, and specifically the American citizen.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to know who's going to get the job done better, who's going to be more efficient, who's going to do it right, and who's going to just make their term the best, during their term the best. Texas, America, whatever election is, it has to be the best it can be during their term.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like that was our main points, was just elections. Right now it's hitting midterm season, and eventually I think our own governor's election, that's in November, I believe. Yes, or in a few months.
I think it's November.
Yes, because I was talking to my parents about that. Because
one way you can check is go to national-hsc.org/vote
yes, actually,
and get election reminders for your state.
Oh, I didn't even know we had that feature. Actually, I'll have to test that out
with our wonderful partner, Vote.online. Mason, if you're still here, you can put it on stage on the banner on the bottom. Yeah. You can go register to vote. You can pledge to vote. You can get election reminders. You can even see if you're still registered to vote and where you're registered to vote.
Yeah, so I did that the other day.
Great resources.
I don't even quite know where that location even was that pulled up on my registration, but
sometimes it's not really accurate.
Yeah, it can be hit or miss, but it is.
It's close enough.
It's good to do anyway because what other tool does this? I didn't know a tool like this even existed a few months ago. And now there are partners, and they partner with organizations like TPUSA and these large organizations. To have them as a partner is incredible.
Yeah, our governor here in South Carolina is up for re-elections, or not re-election. He's served his terms. Now we have another election for our next governor, and I've interviewed 2 of the candidates, and I interviewed a couple more yesterday at our faith forum. So that was fun. I got to meet, I think I've met all of the candidates now except for one, I think. And Lindsey Graham was supposed to be there, and so was Nancy Mace, but they didn't show up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, our Governor Abbott, he's running again for re-election. He's been governor of Texas since before I was born.
He's great.
Yeah, I think he took over after Bush. Am I correct? So yeah, he's been in there for a while, and I think if you look at his time in there as a whole, he's done a lot of good work, and I hope he continues to do good work. And I mean, can't obviously give any formal endorsements or anything like that, but we'll see how this plays out.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, Mason.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, our current governor, Governor McMaster, is our longest serving governor. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. A lot of long serving civil servants that have done some good work, and they deserve to be appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's most of what we have for today. If you're 18 and over, go vote in whatever primaries or whatever elections are going place in mostly your local levels for right now, all the way up to your state if that's up for you right now. And then just keep an eye on how things are for the midterms, and we'll keep you posted here as the weeks go on. Hopefully back again next week or week after. We shall see.
We shall see. Keep an eye out on our story.
All right. I think that kind of does it for today. Thank you for joining us, Belle Foster.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I have my little Miss Gray Collegiates team behind me. I'm so excited to bring American Honey and voices like what y'all are doing. The National High School Conservatives that's so incredible, because that's my whole platform, is getting teens' voices heard. And that's what I'm bringing to the Miss South Carolina stage. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. And congratulations on that. That's pretty huge.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.